Alright guys, so I have good news and bad news. Actually, all I have is good news. I have literally no, please don't do that. Please don't. All I have is good news. So as you can see, I'm standing in a totally empty garage, which means Karma's gone. So Karma officially sold this morning. She is gone. She went to a good home. We'll probably be seeing the car in the future at some point, so I'm not too stressed about it. I know the buyer's gonna take really good care of that car. So that means the hunt for the shop is on, as well as a potential next project, which I'm not gonna say too much about right now because nothing, like it's not 100% in stone, it's like 95% set in stone. But I don't wanna give anything away quite yet. But the rest of the good news is, because Karma's gone, we now have room for another car in the garage. So, Kyle's on his way back up here with the 17 STI right now. He was wrapping up some smaller stuff with that car over the past couple of days, such as the catch cans, low radiator hoses, the cat back, all of that stuff. So let's get our Blueberoo back. Let's get our Blueberoo back!
Yo, it's well, it's not alive, but it's here. Dude, those look so good. Oh, I'm so hyped. You taking the neon once this is off?
She's a runner soon. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Sure you want to, because I got it in the trash with all the other shit.
The neon?
I'll just come by the day before the garage.
Dude. Oh my god, it looks so good. Glad to see the brakes still work. Brakes are a little squeaky.
So it's the next morning for us. Blue is back. She back. Now with Blue being back, Karma's also gone. So Karma officially sold 2 days ago. The new owner is loving the car, enjoying it a lot, and having a blast with it. Gave him like the whole run around with Karma. I follow him on Instagram now so I can keep like tabs on the car to see how she's doing and whatnot. But I'm super pumped that Blue is back. This car is going to be my new white whale. So let's go over Blue. I'm not gonna be working on the car today. I'm gonna be starting work on Blue tomorrow to get it going again. I'm projecting maybe getting the car running in a month and a half to 2 months. Let me like walk you guys through everything that we still have to do just to get the car running. So we got our baby girl in here, kicking it, hanging out, whatnot. So actually, let me open up this real quick. 1, 2, this side hood pin I need to adjust just because it's like so on there. Boop, we can get that opened. So as you guys remember, car just came back from Fuse Fab. Kyle towed it up as you guys saw. So there's still a couple things that need to be done on the fab side of things. Kyle's coming back up. The downpipe needs to be finished welded. There's a couple spots on there that need to be finished. He ran out of gas for that on the titanium. The lower radiator still needs the crossover tube that goes over back to the thermostat. The blow-off valve still needs to be put in here. And then there's a couple other small things like, I love the Fuse logo on here, but this is gonna drive me nuts. Like that center tab and the Fuse logo just makes way too much noise for me. And then there's a couple small tabs here and there that need to be welded on here, and then I'm pretty sure we're done on fabrication. So as you guys saw in the last video, Kyle was wrapping up the exhaust on this. I do want to show you guys that because it came out awesome. So we have dual 3.5-inch tips on each side. I wanted to retain as much of an OEM look on this car as we could, and this does the job beautifully. It's great looking exhaust. It's like fully welded up on there. We're using all of the stock exhaust hangers and whatnot, so we're good on that. Now, electrically speaking, because that's going to be the next big thing for us, is electrical. If you guys remember from before, if you're new to the channel, we're running a Haltech Elite 2500 on this car. And where I kind of left off on this thing was like digging through the harness right here for the Haltech. So I still need to get all of that wired in, this big spaghetti mess. Before I even attempt getting into that, which is why I'm not working on it today, is the fact I'm going through High Performance Academy's motorsports wiring classes just to make sure I have everything I need. We're gonna start mapping out that harness to be able to get everything like where it needs to be. So we have like a throttle body sensor there, power steering pump needs its, alternator, I already have the alternator one done because that ran from the fuse box over here. We have injectors, ignition coils. I still need to order ignition coils. We are going to be using R35 GTR ignition coils on this, and then I will just weld on some tabs on there to be able to bolt them down. If you guys remember from last time, because I know it's been a little while, I already went through and I stripped this fuse box of everything that we don't need in there anymore. So all of the body harness stuff is done at this point. Now, one thing that is still nice about this is if you guys remember, I can't like really open the tank. Hang on, let me crawl back here and open the trunk. Release! Back here in the trunk, I did relocate the battery to the rear. I do need to do a proper ground for this battery because that is not a proper ground. However, we do have our power and our circuit breaker, everything in here. So if we come up here, we toss our circuit breaker on like that. The car does tick on, relays click on, and we still have power to everything that we need, such as like blinkers, lights, all that kind of stuff. So if you guys remember, boom, we still have taillight. We still have taillight. Our headlights still work. The running lights and fog lights, all of that still works. I don't have any of that plugged in right now just because it's all attached to the bumper. Turn signals and everything like that still work. That one's not hooked up right now. Neither is that one down there. When we have the dash in here, I did verify everything in here still works. Like all of our windows and whatnot still work. One of the big things that I want to retain with this swap is being able to keep all of the OEM features of the car, such as lighting and things of that nature. One problem that I am running into is the car auto turns on and auto turns off. So there's got to be a grounding issue or something going on in the car that's not allowing me to turn it on or off, because if I come down here and I come to this guy right here and I click the start button, actually that may have turned it off. That did not turn it off. What happens if I push it again? Okay, yeah, so we have a grounding issue or something going on that's not allowing us to turn the car on and off. Whenever I need to turn it on and off, I have to come back here, go to this circuit breaker, and then pop the breaker like that, and then it shuts power off to everything. Down in here, we still have the Radium dual fuel pumps in there. So this car does have two Wall Bureau 450s lodged in the stock fuel tank. I was considering running a surge tank or an external fuel tank, but on the newer chassis cars, the stock fuel tank works out pretty well for us in our favor. It already has internal baffling inside of the tank. So everything in here is already taken care of. The fuel system in there is done. We still need to put an inline fuel filter underneath of the car to be able to monitor fuel and everything like that. I need to wrap up the last of the Dash 8 lines up here for the fuel rails, incorporate our ethanol sensor in here, and then that should wrap up the fuel system. So while the car visually looks like it's close to done, in theory it's not. I still need to order sensors for this thing as well. I need to order 2 NOx sensors, a crank position sensor, cam position sensor. There's a couple other things I need to. We also need to figure out that reluctor wheel for the crank position sensor. While I have one in there that's already been kind of welded, it's not gonna work. So I finally found a stock EG33 crank sprocket. That thing was harder to find than you could imagine. That took me 4 months to find that crank sprocket. Now what we need to do, I've already cut off all the back teeth on this crank sprocket right here. We need to take those teeth that are on there now and extend them to the back portion of the wheel to read off the EJ25's oil pump where the crank position sensor sits. On stock EG33s, they come with 2 crank position sensors instead of 1. I don't know why, but we're swapping to only running 1, so we need to figure that out as well. Now on the inside of the car, we still need to get a full cage put in this car, but I'm not worried about that until we get the car running and idling. So in the next video, I'm probably gonna get the carpet put back in here as well as that Sparco seat that I have sitting back here underneath the shop towels and everything like that. Mainly so when I'm working inside of the car, working on getting that Haltech wired in and trying to trick the CAN bus system in here, I at least have a place to sit so that way I'm not just sitting on the ground. I've sat on the ground in here way too long, it hurts my butt, so we're not going to do that if we can avoid it. But my goal, 1.5 to 2 months to get this thing at least idling. I am learning how to build a base map on the Haltech. The Haltech seems a lot easier to use than standard Cobb software and whatnot, so I feel like I can do that pretty well. It's not a bad system. I am going to need a CAN home link for the Elite 2500. I'm just going to keep it mounted in the glove box. It just gives easy access to be able to get to it whenever we need to. And then I don't know if I ever showed you guys this, but big shout out to DC Engineering because they sent us their big boy alternator for this. That's their 270 amp alternator, and they got it finished in the exact same finish as the turbo in here. So that way our turbo and alternator will have the exact same finish on it, and we're not gonna have that grungy looking old 05 one in there anymore. It'll just make things look a lot better. So while it looks like it's done, we still got a little ways to go, you guys. I also need to get wheels and tires ordered for this thing because those are not mine, those are Riker's. Riker, thank you for letting me borrow those for so long. I've had these wheels of Riker's for 6 months now, and I felt bad about it because I didn't think I'd have them that long, but we do. A lot of you guys were asking about the brakes on the car. I don't plan on doing anything crazy with the brakes up until I feel the car needs them. I'll probably do some better pads, better rotors on the car. This is not going to be like a daily driven street car. Keep that in mind also. This thing is nowhere near that. As for the transmission, because I know people were asking about that, and if you're new to the channel, you may not know. Right now, we just have the stock STI 6-speed in the car with an ACT mod twin clutch. I'm going to run that stock 6-speed until it blows up. When the stock 6-speed blows up, we can either do, it gets expensive, we could do a sequential transmission. Going to be expensive, that's going to take some time for me to get funds like that to be able to do something like that. The more realistic option is getting a PPG gear set and getting that stock STI transmission built, which is probably the route that we're going to go. The car's mainly going to be used for time attack and drag racing, so I want to have a mixture of things that will hold hard launches and daily, well, not daily abuse, but continued abuse at the track. And then the last thing I do want to touch on with this engine before I end this video, because this is just like a recap video of everything that's going on with Old Blue since she is back now. That engine, a lot of people were asking the specs on this engine. It is an EG33 out of a 1995 Subaru SVX. The engine has been closed-decked, half-inch head studs, bored out, CP pistons, manly rods, OEM nitrated and polished crankshaft. Our cams have been reworked, so they're reground OEM EG33 cams that are now 282 cams for this engine now. We have valves, retainers, buckets, you name it. This engine is fully built to handle whatever we throw at it. We don't know what this engine is rated to. Like I said, nobody out there has done a build similar to this with the exception, I think Kevin out in, I want to say he's in Queensland, has a very similar build to this. His has been like idling and running. His sounds gnarly. I cannot wait to hear what this one sounds like. They are entirely different setups, but the long block, the actual internals of the engines, I'm pretty sure are pretty damn near the same. So I hope that answers all the questions you guys had on this thing. I hope that kind of lays out the game plan a little bit more. Biggest thing that we're going to jump on next is wiring. I know not a lot of people love wiring videos. I'm going to try to make them as entertaining and as fun and as engaging as I can, but the root cause is it's wiring. Nobody loves to do wiring, but it's like a crazy important step for us. So wiring is going to be the next thing we start tackling in here. Ordering some sensors. I don't know what sensors I'm going to be getting yet. The 2 knock sensors, I can get those ordered just because they are knock sensors. The crank position sensor, I don't know if I want to do Hall effect or I want to say it's reluctor. Off the top of my head, I don't remember, but there's a lot of stuff about to happen, a lot of learning things. I also have a big surprise coming to the channel this weekend for everyone that I think a lot of you guys are actually going to love, but that's where I'm going to stop it on this one, you guys. I just wanted to do a short little video of bringing Old Blue back to the garage, EG33 breakdown, kind of the game plan we're going to be doing here, and the time frame that I'm shooting for. That time frame is always eligible to move a little bit, but that is my goal. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys on this one. If you like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead, hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan, whatever color it turns for you. If you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be and you want to see this abomination live, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I'll put it in one of these corners. No idea which one I'll put it in quite yet. But with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies.